So we're here at Loch Ness at, how do you pronounce it?
Castle?
There we go, you can pronounce it.
We think.
We'll be spending the day here till about 7 o'clock.
Because that's when the next bus comes.
Oh, I don't know.
7 hours between buses, guys.
I don't know if we'll stick around that long.
Yeah. We'll see.
Tonight we've got the Caledonian Sleeper.
Yeah. That'll be lots of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll show you the ruins, any walks we do.
What was that?
No, I'm not gonna repeat that joke.
Repeat the joke, come on.
No.
Fine. So here we got a trebuchet. Apparently there's no record of trebuchets ever being used against the castle, but 11 large boulders were found nearby, so... Yeah.
Plans to use them, but never.
But never were. Gatehouse to the castle, which was apparently destroyed mostly. So this is the prisoner's cell. There's basically a toilet at the other end, but that's about it.
Yeah. No windows or anything or any sort of.
Got a fantastic view of the just never-ending lake. That is
Loch Ness, by the way, yeah.
It is Loch Ness, yeah.
Oh. Gorgeous, even on an overcast day like this. Can you imagine what it'd be like with the sun out?
I know. You reckon we can see the monsters today?
Fingers crossed.
The question we're often asked is how did they carry the weapon around? First thing to explain is the Scottish Claymore is 6 pounds in weight, 2.7 kilos. The sword is not a heavy sword. Anyone that tells you a sword is heavy probably hasn't held a proper one before. The weight is not a problem, it is the length of the blade. But if you wish to carry this with you, you can't stick it in a sword belt. It drags on the ground as you walk. You cannot carry it on your shoulder like this. You're walking down the high street with the rest of the army and somebody talks to you from behind. Person's head off. She had a thing called a baldric. This is a large piece of leather that fits over the blade with a rope from the top to the bottom. You put the sword in the baldric and wore it on your back like so. Now if you were ever attacked, you'd have taken it off your back, removed it from the baldric and used it for the fighting. That's how most people use this weapon. There was another man who used it slightly differently, and his name was Mel Gibson. Some years ago, Mel Gibson did a film called Braveheart. You may have seen this film. In the film, Mr. Gibson did something no one else can do, and if you ever see the film on television, you should watch out for this. You'll see Mel Gibson running into battle with a claymore on his back, and halfway through the scene, he draws the claymore out of the baldric like that. But of course it's physically impossible because your arm would have to be 4 feet long. When it rules Mr. Gibson out, he's about that tall. No, the Scottish Claymore.
Just got a good view of a wrecked tower here. So we're here in the storeroom. Underneath the Grant's Tower. Here's a shot from the bottom of the Grant Tower. The lake continues way over that way. It's enormous. I don't think we'll ever get it all on shot.
No, definitely not.
The top of the Grant Tower. Some medieval graffiti on the wall. George's going to test the water.
Oh yeah, it's not as freezing as you'd think.
It's really not that cold.
Still wouldn't want to swim in it though.
It's at 6 degrees, huh?
Yeah.
What body of water just goes on forever?
Guys, look at our doom approaching. That looks like some very ominous black clouds.
This is the view from the top of the castle. George is done because her phone's just...
It's literally glitching out every single time I try to use it now. I might have to get a new one before the trip's over. Like, honestly, I might.
Well, I've got one. Got a good view of the castle here. Okay, to give you an idea of how big the lake is, right? That's 1 square kilometre, right? This is the Loch Ness. And that's where we are.
So we're just gonna walk back along through town because there's nothing left to do at the castle.
It was not 7 hours worth.
No, that was like 3, maybe. No, two and a half.
Well, not even that.
I mean, if we went on the tour, we could have had more time. But
Yeah, probably.
yeah. But yeah, we just got a lovely view of the castle from up by the road. It's very nice. Hey.
So we finished in...
Drumnadrocket is how we think we pronounce it.
We were supposed to catch a bus back at 7 o'clock,
but that's still 3 hours away, so we don't want to do that.
Yeah. So we called a taxi.
Yeah. So we walked back into Drumnadrocket, which is a lovely 20-minute walk from the castle, and found this Loch Ness Centre, which sort of details the myth of the Loch Ness Monster and
what they've done to try and prove it.
Yeah,
or disprove
it. And it's really super interesting actually, because they just sort of talk about how like all the different things the sightings could have been from like foreign objects, the water currents under the water buoying these objects in certain ways that make them look like they're swimming.
Even the currents themselves, like with echolocation, could have possibly been the cause.
It was actually really super interesting, and it's in this massive old building just here, which is super cool. But yeah, now we're just waiting for a taxi in 20 minutes. We're just gonna suck it up and pay it because it's better than trying to lose 3 hours out here in the middle of nowhere. Because I honestly thought there'd be walks or something along the Loch Ness.
There is, but it's also kind of rainy.
There's not really. There's actually almost nothing. There's like maybe like one hour walk we could do that's not even by the Loch Ness. It's just up a hill to a waterfall and back. So yeah, we're just gonna go back into Inverness and see what we can do in there.
Yeah.
Before our train. So.